post a lot of sex education and that, just stuff like that. Everybody knows behind closed doors, we're all talking about it. Of course we're talking about it. I realized that I have the privilege of being two things. Number one, the personality type where I really, and maybe sensitive, I don't give a I get so many DMs. Pernah gak sih kayak dapet DM and it's like from some like random ass man. They're asking for news. They're asking me like how much I cost for one night. You know what they're asking. I wouldn't tell my mom is because I know that she just blame it on me.
Yeah.
It's also because a lot of women are gaslit into believing that when a man is sexually harassing her, it's that, oh, you should enjoy that. And it's like, no, it means he likes you. And this is where I get very problematic. I like to fight.
Halo MTEvers, kembali lagi dengan Alia tanpa Samira. Tapi hari ini gak disendirian kok gue, jadi ditemenin sama guest yang sangat cantik, sangat interesting, yang I cannot wait to get to know her more. So ini excited banget ya, episode kali ini adalah another episode yang kolaborasi dengan L'Oreal. So happy to be exploring more of our shared mission for women empowerment through MTF. Nah, so hari ini ada Indah. Hai Indah.
Hello.
Ini gue datang-datang kaget kayak, Bo cakep banget ini lo masuk-masuk.
Oh my god.
Ini di hari siang bolong ini, lagi panas-panas gini, dia tetap glowing. You look amazing.
Thank you likewise.
Nah, boleh dong kenalan dulu Ndah. So this is the first time we met each other.
Yup.
So maybe ini di MTF First ini ada yang udah kenal Indah, tapi mungkin ada juga yang belum. So why don't you introduce yourselves, kesibukannya apa dan lain-lain. I know you're kayak content creators nih, tapi apa sih gitu kesibukannya dan konten-konten seperti apa sih biasanya Indah buat?
Alright, cool. And also disclaimer, I think it's pretty obvious. I'm a lot more comfortable speaking in English, but I promise di mana aku bisa ngomong bahasa Indonesia, aku akan usahakan. Yeah. So for those of you that don't know me, hi, my name is Indah Gunawan, or I'm more commonly known as Indah G. And as Aaliyah said, I'm a content creator. I think most of y'all, if y'all ever seen me on the internet, I'm so sorry, but it's gonna be on TikTok, and so usually for my podcast clips. So the bulk of my content creating is actually in podcasting, similar to what we're doing over here. So this is really my safe space. I have a podcast show called The Indah G Show, and the focus of my show is taboo and controversial.
Okay.
Yeah, so we talk about all of the things that usually piss a lot of people off or make people feel a little bit uncomfortable, but yeah, I like that. So, that's the bulk of what I do.
So, how did you get started? Karena tadi kan kita habis ngobrol nih sama Indah ya. So, you grew up di sini, you went to international school, terus habis itu sekolah di luar, and then baru pulang ke Indonesia tuh langsung pandemi. So, tadi sempat ngobrol nih ada some kind of culture shock juga lah gitu lah, ada shock. Can you tell me about it gitu when you decided to come here and then you decided to become content creators?
Right. So the brief breakdown of like my life, essentially, I grew up here in Jakarta, but I grew up as an international student. So it's like very much like in that little international school bubble. And so I graduated straight out of high school. I went straight to the U.S. I went to college in Los Angeles, California. Shout out to at my alma mater, LMU, go Lions. And then, so I was there. I didn't have any intentions of coming back. I'm going to be honest. I did not want to come back here. I did not want to come back here. Tapi terpaksa karena COVID kan. Yeah, and then so that happened, and then I moved back here in like 2020. And then actually like percaya nggak percaya, at first my intention was to go into corporate. I wanted to become an investment banker.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Either an investment banker or like one of the top four, like an accountant, like tax auditing or something.
Oh my god.
Boring stuff like that. Yeah, but then nobody would hire me. Like
tapi backgroundnya sekolahnya emang itu
business, like finance and accounting, yeah. Well, entrepreneurship, but like focus on finance, but and an accounting minor. And so I wanted to go into corporate, but then like nobody would hire me. Di LA nggak diterima, di Jakarta pun juga nggak diterima kan. And so it's like, okay, crap, I can't get a job. And so the first thing that I did after graduating, I wrote a book actually, and it's about what we were talking about just now. It's like about my life growing up in the international school system, moving to America and like experiencing culture shock, and then moving back here, experiencing culture shock again, and just kind of like navigating the international student experience, because like, you know, it's a very niche experience, right? And I just wanted to get that down on paper, book. So I published that, and then after I published that one, it's like, okay, crap, I still don't have a job. And then basically how I got my start with content creating, it actually gak sengaja. It kind of happened on accident. So I guess some people might know, might be familiar with Jakarta Uncensored. I don't know if you've ever heard.
I do.
Yeah.
Book,
So long story short, Jakarta Uncensored, I knew that they were starting the series dedicated to like international students, where they just wanted to interview a bunch of international students and sort of like ask us like, hey, like, what is it like? What is it like to go to an international school? What's the difference? And then I pitched myself to them, really not expecting anything. I didn't think that I was gonna get it because at that time I was a freaking nobody. Like I had no clout, no followers, like a complete nobody, right? But then I shot my shot and I was like, hey, like, here's my background. I think I'm pretty qualified to talk about this. But in case you don't want me, and it's totally fine if you don't, here's my homegirl Bishka, who Bishka, shout out to Bishka, but she's a content creator on TikTok as well. And so I was like, okay, well, here's my friend Bishka in case like you don't want me and you want somebody else with more following. They reached out to me and then they replied back to me. I was so shocked. They replied back. They were like, okay, like we'll take the both of you and then we'll come over. Long story short, next thing you know, I was in Kelvin's apartment. Shout out to Kelvin. We were in the apartment filming, and then it uploaded like 1 million views. And then
this is about the story of your experience in international school, or
so the video was about like just me. Like about the international student experience growing up in Jakarta, like from the perspective of me and my friend Bishka, right?
Okay.
Yeah, and then so that video went viral, like 1 million views, and then one morning I woke up and like I had thousands of followers on social media, right? And then it coincided with when I was also just posting content on TikTok. Initially, it was just to promote my book, right? And then like people saw me on TikTok and they started following me, and then I realized like, oh God, like people just want to see content from me in general, irregardless of what I talk about. So and then in the beginning I started, because I kind of went like famous for like the international student content, but I didn't want to get pigeonholed into that, and so then I started branching out into other topics. Now I'd get a lot of DMs from people saying like, hey, I find you super entertaining, I love to hear you talk, can you make like a podcast show or something, can you like post on YouTube? And then I was like, that is a good idea, because like if I can't shut up, at least like make money out of it. Right. So and then I started my podcast show, and it took a while to kind of like
find the right content
the right content, and like things that like, because I want to talk about so many things, but then like like awal-awalnya experimenting aja, kayak mau like bahas apa, and like what would be interesting to a lot of people, and then eventually I settled kind of like my own personal vision and mission of like wanting to challenge the status quo and wanting to inspire thought-provoking conversation and really like challenge the notion of what is taboo and what is controversial, So and that's where TIGS, the Indah G show, is now.
Especially di Indonesia ya, maksudnya
Apalagi
tabunya banyak banget. So have you ever find itu kan jadi kontroversial ya, karena menurut, in my opinion gitu lah, banyak orang they talk about it, but if you talk about it in front of public, it becomes kayak enggak, no one talks about that gitu loh. But between friends in society sebenarnya is being talked about. Nah, konten apa sih biasanya yang kayak gitu, yang kayaknya sebenarnya itu biasa aja, tapi ketika when you bring it up to public, to your podcast, it becomes an attack. I don't know, kayak atau balik lagi tuh.
Oh, 100%. At the top of my head, sex.
Yes.
Yeah. I think when it comes to me as a podcast creator, I think a lot of people would associate it more with like, I post a lot of sex education on my on TIGS.
Okay.
Yeah, I post a lot of sex education. And that just stuff like that. Everybody knows behind closed doors we're all talking about it. Of course we're talking about it. But then suddenly when you bring it like outside into the public, and suddenly it's like it's wrong, and I never understood that. And just, or even talking about family dynamics, or even just mental health. So just
Tapi gimana tuh? How do you overcome that? Because sometimes with, again ya balik lagi, mungkin if you do the podcast, here di Amerika waktu when you're
back in LA,
itu balik di LA mungkin biasa aja gitu loh, dengerin gitu, is very entertaining. But now kalau untuk ngomongin seperti ini gitu loh, there's gonna be a lot of backlash. How do you empower yourself untuk kayak, ya udah biarin aja, I'm moving on.
No, we were just talking about this, how I think I'm very lucky. I am the type of personality that I think is well suited for my kind of a job, where it's like, putting out controversial content. That's why I kind of, actually the reason why the Indah G show didn't start off as the Indah G show. It started off as Indah Under the Influence, and it was supposed to be kind of
Indah
like
under the
Indah Under the Influence, and it was really just kayak, what is the word in Indo? Ngoceh?
ngoceh, iya
Ngoceh, just to kind of
ngoceh
like
aja.
banter.
Iya,
Yeah, like
bener.
just ngoceh-ngocehan, like, you know, talk about just literally like whatever the heck I wanted. It was supposed to be kind of like a call, like a call me daddy, but like Indonesian version at first. The reason why I wanted to sort of take a step back and then like reevaluate, and then like now like I'm at where we're at with the Indah G show, focusing on taboo and controversial, is because I realized that I have the privilege of being two things. I would say, number one, the personality type where I really, and maybe censor this, but I don't give a right.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I
You really don't.
I really don't.
'Cause a
I
lot of
love to
people-
fight.
Yeah, a lot of people say I don't give a fuck, but they
Yeah,
do.
but deep down, I mean, of course, there's nuances to it, right? It depends on the situation. But then
Yeah.
it's like, I don't know if it's stupid stuff like. One time on TikTok, I posted this one clip from one of my episodes, and it kind of went viral, and a lot of people were really pissed because there's a clip of me on TikTok talking about how virginity is just a social construct.
Okay.
Oh, and a lot of people got pissed about
Yeah,
that
yeah,
one.
yeah.
But see, if it's like, if they're getting pissed about like that, I
Ya
don't
udah, iya.
whatever.
That's
I don't
your
know.
ini kan. You're
Yeah.
entitled to your opinion juga.
Well,
gitu
yeah,
lah.
that, but also like and this is where I get very problematic. I like to fight.
Okay.
I like to fight. I'm very confrontational and argumentative. I'm not gonna lie. So no, one, I have the privilege of being that type of a personality where it's like backlash and controversies. It does not affect me as detrimentally as, like, you know, a lot of other people. I think that's one. But also too, I'm the privilege of coming from a privileged background, like higher socioeconomic status, international school kid, and you know, it's just kind of like I have all of these like things going for me, and it's like, you know, the quote, like, with a lot of what is it? Some cheesy ass quote about like with great power comes great responsibility.
Spider-Man.
Okay.
From Spider-Man.
Oh, is that Spider-Man?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. No, yeah, but something along those lines, you know, where it's like if I have all of these things going for me, and like and it just so happens like I really like I'm comfortable talking about these things, and like if I can make a difference just by talking about it, then that's what I want to do.
But that's a privilege juga karena nggak semua orang ngomong gitu. Ada orang yang nggak tahu deh, banyak artis yang kayaknya maybe they have the same views or thoughts with you, tapi ketika nggak cuma artis lah, kayak public figure or whatever ya. Terus ketika mereka ngomong menyuarakan itu, ya udah backlash, and ya udah, apalagi with cancel culture sekarang ini kayak that's it, you're done. But with you it become kayak apa ya, malah menjadi wave yang lebih gede gitu loh buat
so
Indah.
I ride on the wave of being controversial and unorthodox for sure, and also just because like this is like depending on how you see it, right? It's like with me, it's like I'm my own person. Like I don't have a boss, like I'm not a corporate worker, so like my job is not at risk. And then it's like this one is gonna sound a little bit weird, but then it's also I have a very small family, right? So it's like with a lot of my friends, it's like, well, I want to talk about these things, but then like, what if my aunt sees it? You know, right? What if the family group chat blows up and like my family confronts me? Where it's like with me, I don't have that issue, right? I come from a very small family, like it's just me and my mom. My mom don't give a I don't give a.
Okay, I was gonna ask, sometimes a lot of things kayak comes from pressure from the family. They don't want to be seen kayak seperti itu kan.
Yeah,
gitu.
but then again with me, it's just me and my mom. My mom don't give a I don't give a. Well, even if my mom gave a, like I don't, so right. And so it's like I have all of these like circumstances in my life that put me in a very comfortable position where I can talk about this. On top of that, I have the personality for it. So it's like if it's, you know, if it's not gonna be anybody else, it's gotta be me. Yeah. That's the way I see it.
So ini tadi kita ngomongin yang kalau yang responnya negatif. But of course from out of your podcast, out of your content, there's a lot of positivity juga gitu that you bring gitu loh. So apa sih biasanya gitu loh? What's the response that's positive? Apa sih yang sebenarnya the takeaway yang they can get gitu loh out of you, and whether your content empower a lot of women juga.
Positive feedback. Okay, definitely. I will say, this is not to sound narcissistic, but I think people like me are very rare in this country where it's like, you know, to have the balls to say the shit that I say out loud in front of the camera and like put it out on the internet. And so it's usually just a lot of people. I was so surprised in the beginning. I was making content just talking about like quite literally anything. Like sex or mental health or whatever. Like it's just me being honest, right? And like to me it's nothing. But then I would, you know, put that up online, and then a bunch of people would see it, and then I would literally get DMs from people just being like, yo, thank you so much
for bringing this up.
You take for granted just how much it can help somebody out there to just for them to know, if nothing else, just for them to know that they are not alone in
Oke.
struggling with something or with
Yeah.
feeling some type of way, being some type of way. And I get a lot of DMs from people literally just being like, yo, thank you for talking about this, because like for the longest time I thought it was just me.
Iya.
I thought it was just me. I thought I was the problem,
Mhm.
you know? But so the bulk of it is really just people finding relief in the fact that, oh, there is somebody out there like them, like in whatever way, like whether it's like in political opinions, mentality, or
Yeah.
like lifestyle, whatever, right? And also just I think one benefit of me coming back here, I think it's a breath of fresh air to see somebody challenge
Yeah.
the status quo.
Yeah.
Right? Because this is not the most forgiving society to do that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Terus mereka ini nggak sih suka share story juga nggak sih sama kamu kayak from your point, oh my god, you empowered me and this is my story, you really helped me.
You will not believe the essays I get in my DMs. People like writing me essays of like curhat, like beneran
curhat
curhat,
banget
and it's
gitu.
like an 8
Oh
paragraphs.
wow.
Yeah, no. But yeah, no, for sure. I definitely do get that. And for anybody watching at home, I read every single DM. So if you're one of those people that have sent me essays, like just pouring your heart out, I have read everything.
How do you feel gitu dari essay gitu, kayak biasanya tuh apa, kayak do they ask for your advice, do they kayak enggak, from the story I'm able to speak up, I'm able kayak biasanya apa sih orang-orang yang kayak dapetin?
It's usually, I mean, number one, a lot of people, they take to the DMs just to kind of, I think I have like a little bit of a parasocial relationship with a lot of my followers, which is I think another interesting conversation. But a lot of it is just they want a safe space to kind of like pour their heart out to somebody, whether or not I reply. But they just kind of like want to put it out there, like just kind of like as a cathartic relief. But also a lot of it is the content is mostly just relief. A lot of it is to the tune of like, I'm just so relieved I'm not the only one. I'm so relieved that there's someone like you out there who's advocating for people like me.
You make changes gitu in people's life gitu loh through your content juga jadinya.
Yeah, that's something. Hopefully that's
Nah,
nice try for.
tapi ini kan ngomongin tentang let's say speaking out lah about women issues gitu ya. Ini kan there's again gitu loh, you're one of the privileged one gitu yang bisa ngomongin anything that's taboo gitu loh, dan people actually really respond to that. Tapi kan masih banyak banget juga kalau di ya nggak cuman di Indonesia juga gitu loh, tapi di luar sana tuh juga masih banyak banget kayak women tuh they don't feel safe. Kayak how do you empower them, karena with this a lot of pressure, there's a lot of issues gitu, people kayak women don't feel safe lah, women don't feel enough gitu. How do you think kayak nggak cuma dari konten lah gitu ya, kayak tapi in real world how do you think kayak itu bisa empower sih Nah?
I think one of the things that I actually like, I was recently invited to present at a TED Talk with Sampurna University, and this was actually this was actually what I talked about in my speech. How it's like you can empower other people to be their authentic selves by you being an example, by you being your authentic self. So it's like literally just leading by example and showing. Just literally like showing all of these women like, no, it's okay to just be the way that you are, and like, see, I'm doing it and like I'm fine. So if I can do it, why can't you? Right. So that's the thing. Like I just if nothing else, like you don't gotta be an influencer with like 100,000 followers, or, 100,000 followers and get millions of views online or whatever. Like I know this is gonna sound so cheesy, but like everybody's an influencer. Everybody's an influencer, and like you have influence over the people that is closest to you in your life, and you would be so surprised just how big of a difference it is for just for you to just how do I say this? I'm kind of just like repeating myself, but yeah, for you to just live authentically as you are and allowing other people to see that like, oh, if Indah can do it, then so can I.
Nah ini another thing yang interesting sih, penasaran juga lah sama Indah, kan the content that you bring tuh lumayan kontroversial gitu loh. When I look at kayak foto-foto lu juga, oh my god, this is kayak, gue bilang gila, seksi banget nih Indah nih gini, kan? Gue ngeliat aja kayak gila, ini seksi. Tapi pernah nggak sih malah jadi impact negatif ke lo gitu loh, kayak sexual harassment kayak, atau lo baik itu verbal atau secara ini ya?
Oh my gosh, I was literally just talking about this with my friends the other day. I don't know. Well, I mean, I guess you and I, we don't post similar content. Like, I don't know anybody else at home, like if, especially with content creators that are like, we're still kind of like young and like our like 20s and everything. I don't know. I'm sure it's not just me, but I get so many DMs. Pernah nggak sih kayak dapet DM and it's like from some like random ass man, just they're asking for like They're asking for news. They're asking me like how much I cost for one night. Like you know what they're asking.
Iya.
And just making just a lot of like unwanted sexual advancements.
Iya.
Pernah ada kayak ini satu cowok dia masuk ke DM-nya aku terus dia ngomong kayak I forgot what he was saying, but then like he was just kind of like, oh, do you want to be like my sugar baby or something
Oh
like
my
that?
God.
And then he was like, oh, sorry, I'm using a second account because like I don't want my wife I don't want my wife finding out. Yeah, so it's
How do you make you feel gitu? How does it make you feel?
well, okay, obviously it's like now this is where this conversation of sexual harassment comes in because that is a form of sexual harassment, but then I at the same time like because it's just like behind a phone screen, it doesn't hit as strongly.
It's not
Obviously,
real gitu kayak
yeah,
orang ini
well,
nggak ada gitu.
yeah, well, it feels like because it offers that layer of protection, like that it's knowing that it's just digital. I'm not saying that it's okay. Obviously, it's not okay for you to be doing that, and that is still sexual harassment. But it's just I'm saying that because it's behind a phone screen, it doesn't hit as intensely and as seriously as if it were to happen in real life, right? So like I've been in situations in real life where yeah, definitely sexual harassment. If I may share one story, like the one that like in preparation for this like conversation today, like this is the one that I was thinking like in the car ride on the way here. I was like in the ninth grade, and I live pretty close to my high school, and so this one time I was walking home. Sorry, mom. I'm not allowed to walk, but and you know what? I always used to kayak membantah banget, like whenever my mom told me, like, no, don't walk the streets, like especially all alone, right? But then, that day I learned like the reason why is I was like walking home, and then there was this kayak abang-abang kayak gitu kan dia pakai motor, and then like he like came up to me, and he like slowed down. He was on his motorcycle and everything's kind of like following me along, and then he was saying like. Adik mau kemana? Mau pulang gak sama om?
Oh my God.
Something about like ntar suka permen gak ntar om kasihin permen di rumah.
You're in 9th grade. Itu tuh berapa tuh umur tuh?
Probably
15
like
tahun? 14, 15?
14, 15 probably.
So how do you react?
Yeah. My goodness, that was
It was scary.
Yeah.
Kayak gitu.
No, that's definitely scary. Like at that time sih aku cuma buang muka aja sih, and then I kept going, and then like at some point I guess he like got the hint that like no, like
tapi he's not being aggressive.
Yeah, but he's not. But then it's also at that situation like it's a different story if it was a different man and he decided that he wanted to be a lot more aggressive and actually like kidnap me, like that could have happened. I was just lucky at that time that I didn't run into a man that even if he was sexually harassing me, like he wasn't that like
aggressive lah.
Yeah, he wasn't that aggressive, and so I kind of just buang muka, kind of like bitch glared at him and like just like continued walking, and like thankfully like I'm fine, but I mean unfortunately that is a common occurrence in Indonesia.
Tapi itu langsung pas kejadian itu did you tell your mom?
Oh no,
gitu? Nggak kayak ya udah I handle it, it's okay, I'm fine gitu kan?
No,
yeah,
because I know if I told my mom, well number one she already like
pasti dimarahin. Kenapa jalan?
Of course, but then and also I'm sorry to say this because it's like. Also, the other reason why I wouldn't tell my mom is because I know like she just blame it on me.
Iya. Even ya kalau when I look back when I was kayak masih kecil juga, there are banyak loh kejadian-kejadian yang I didn't tell anyone, I didn't tell my parents, I didn't never talk about it karena kayaknya dulu tuh cuman udah cuman gitu doang. But there was times gitu, ini gue gak tau juga sih bisa bahas di sini juga, tapi there was time kayak pergi nge-gym, tapi waktu masih SMP nge-gym kan gak banyak ya zaman dulu ya, zaman gue dulu gym gak banyak. And they make kayak sexual advances gitu loh, tapi waktu itu kita cuman kayak apaan sih ini orang rese banget, cuman kita udah get away from us gitu. But I mean never reported, kita gak pernah ngomong apa-apa, and then nggak tahu kenapa itu takut dimarahin. Pasti kalau diomong ya ngapain pergi ke sana, ngapain olahraga gini, kenapa pakai baju begini.
Exactly.
Always like that kan.
Exactly.
Ini sih kayaknya yang sesuatu yang tabu, bukan tabu lah ya, something yang harusnya di bring up gitu loh, kayak needs to make a difference gitu loh. Nggak bisa tuh kita tuh udah mulai victim blaming, especially women ya. Women tuh lebih gampang banget. Okay, what you remember?
I just remembered gaslighting. It's also because a lot of women are gaslit into believing that when a man is sexually harassing her, it's
salah itu dulu.
Well, no, it's that you should enjoy that.
Oh my god, yeah.
Right? You should enjoy that. And it's like no, it means he likes you. It means you're pretty.
Itu yang dari kecil nih, karena gue baca juga kayak gitu. Sebenarnya kita nggak boleh tuh ngajarin anak kita, misalnya perempuan, terus kan suka nih anak kecil Ada cowok mungkin naksir dia iseng gitu loh,
Ya,
ngaduin terus habis itu
yep,
kayak, "Ya nggak apa-apa lah iseng, diisengin itu namanya dia naksir sama kamu."
yeah.
That's kayak ingrained to your brain kayak, oh lo kalau diisengin, make di feel uncomfortable that means that guy
We're taught
iya kan?
we're taught to interpret a man's violence and equate it to love
Mhm,
essentially.
iya,
Yeah, when like I was just talking about this with my friend the other day, where it's like when we're taught to equate a man's violence with love and adoration in the sense, like, for example, like, even starting from elementary school, a boy is picking on you, or it means
mmm,
he has a crush on you.
iya,
You know, that man, or even, you know what's really interesting, like your dad or your older brother, like being threatening towards your boyfriend or the man that you're getting close to, or it means that he loves you. That your partner punches the wall, like what he's like in an angry fit, oh, it means he loves you.
iya, iya.
You know, so it, I definitely agree. It's like it starts. We as women, like, we're taught this at a very young age, and it definitely needs to stop.
Iya,
Yeah.
benar. Apalagi di society kayak gini, culture kan ya sangat patriarki ya. Jadinya
Mm-hmm.
kayak laki-laki it's like above everything lah gitu. Nggak apa-apa, kayaknya nggak bisa salah lah gitu loh. Nah
Yeah.
itu kayaknya emang harus dirubah. That's why gitu loh untuk teman-teman di sini kalau punya anak laki-laki itu juga harus diajarin gitu loh. Bukan cuma anak perempuan menerima, tapi anak-anak laki juga how to treat other human being lah gitu
Yeah,
loh.
ya,
Kayak gimana sih?
terlepas dari kelaminnya
Dari
sih.
kelaminnya gitu, how to treat a human being gitu.
Yeah.
Nah ini mungkin pertanyaan, mungkin terakhir kali ya. Jadi, how do you think kayak we should do sih di society kayak gini? Karena ini banyak banget ya kayak namanya harassment di mana-mana.
Mm-hmm.
Karena di Indonesia tuh bukan di Indonesia lah, di dunia tuh kayaknya gampang catcalling lah,
Mm-hmm.
apalah mepet-mepet. Apalagi sampai yang parah banget ya, gue sering banget tuh ngelihat kayak di social media tuh gila tuh parah banget di tempat umum,
Mm-hmm.
dia tuh bisa gitu loh make that advances yang kayak, "Oh my god lu binatang atau apaan sih?" Kayak how can you do that
Do
gitu.
the difficult thing is, you know what I find, it's really interesting because I used to live in the US, and like I come back over here, right? And like it just in general, you see the trend of like people being reluctant to speak out
Mhm,
and intervene whenever they see instances of sexual harassment or sexual assault happening in public. That's pretty much like that's standard across the globe,
mhm,
unfortunately, but it happens more so in Asian. I would say more so like collectivistic societies, like Asian societies, like in Indonesia, where I think because there is an element, like especially in Indonesian culture, you know, there's like this heightened pressure that, oh, to maintain the peace and like jangan bikin ribut-ribut,
mhm,
right?
mhm,
Don't cause a scene. And it's also a big element to it. I feel like over here it's like the whole safe face culture,
mhm, mhm.
right?
Iya, iya.
To save face, and then like a lot of people I think associate, because of our collectivistic values, like people kind of associate starting causing a scene with losing
Mhm,
face, right?
mhm,
And
mhm,
so it's also, that's what's very difficult, that's what's difficult about having this conversation here in Indonesia, is because you are literally going against the grain of like just our
iya.
collectivistic cultural values. And just, I'll be honest, like I don't have the answer, because honestly the the answer is, if you see that type of shit happening, like you have to just, like, you have to intervene. There's the 5 Ds. Apa?
Ya, ini sesuai banget sama ininya L'Oreal ya.
Mm-hmm.
Mereka ada campaign tentang sexual harassment untuk stand up campaign,
Yeah.
which is ada 5D,
Uh-huh.
which is dialihkan,
Mm-hmm.
ditegur, dilaporkan, ditenangkan, didokumentasikan.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, ini nih kayaknya yang sesuatu kita sebagai society ya kita nggak bisa tuh cuman kayak ya gitu berbalik muka atau kayak turn around atau kayak pura-pura nggak tahu deh yang penting gue gitu.
Mm-hmm.
You need to step up gitu, stand up untuk
Uh-huh.
kayak begini gitu loh.
Uh-huh.
Dan menurut gue kalau nggak mau di ini ya mungkin kalau lo
Mm-hmm.
kan seneng confrontational nih gitu.
Yeah, I
Ya
don't
kan
mind.
nggak takut gitu loh. Cuman mungkin kalau ada yang ya didokumentasikan itu tuh udah bisa jadi sesuatu yang baik gitu.
That's what I wanted to say. Definitely, especially in the age of social media,
Mhm.
where oftentimes where our legal justice system fails to deliver
Ya.
justice, like we can deliver justice at least through the form of social action, right? Like
Mhm.
posting it on social media
Ya.
and like having people kind of like, yeah, you get where I'm going with this. Sorry, I'm not being that eloquent right now, but what I'm trying to say is, with the documentation part, I think this is really important for people to note that, like, yes, you can document,
Mhm.
you can document, but don't be so quick to post that online, because you could get sued.
Okay.
ITE,
Yeah.
ITE kan?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But the whole purpose of you documenting should be so that there is physical evidence that you can submit to the police,
Yeah.
right? And then if you are going to post it online, and I'm all for posting that stuff online, but then like because you could get sued and everything. Even though, I mean, please correct me if I'm wrong. If anybody like with expertise regarding the law, like if I get anything wrong, please comment down below. But as far as I know, you could get sued, and so to protect you and to protect the victim from that, definitely censor the face, but then leave. Hopefully, you find a way to like leave enough information about them so that people, so that the internet can deliver justice for you.
Yes.
Yeah, that for sure. And then the other thing, I'm sorry this is a little bit off topic, but I find it so interesting. So like back in the US, I lived all alone in LA, by the way, and LA is not the most safe place for a woman to be living alone. So, and I'm sure in America, like self-defense, like people carrying guns in certain states. But then also like what's very common, especially for women, is to carry around pepper spray.
Yeah, that's what I had kalau jalan-jalan dulu di Amerika.
Yeah, but that's di Amerika. Nah, kalau di Indonesia, kenapa?
Iya,
No,
benar.
but why?
Yeah,
The genuine question, like, is it illegal? Like, are we? And I've tried looking up pepper spray on Tokopedia. It's called Pepper America or something like that in Indonesian. But number one, it's super expensive, and also just two. And then I looked it up, and then there are definitely some legal ramifications that can come with you using pepper spray, or like pepper spraying orang sembarangan kayak gitu, or like using it like in a situation where where it's required for self-defense. But it's just, I find it very interesting. It's like there's so much conversation like targeted at women, saying that as women we need to be careful, and like
bukan aja self defense sih
yeah.
kalau di sini modelnya juga.
Yeah. But then like even like they would talk about self-defense, but then it's like, okay, but then like why isn't pepper spray like a thing that we're allowed? Like I mean I don't know, like I don't know if it's, I'm sure it's legal, but then I don't know, maybe it's just like a social norm thing here. But then like I don't know, I'm a very big advocate for like, I think we should all start carrying pepper spray around in this country. If as long as it's legal, right? If it's, I don't know if it is, but if it is, like I think we should start. Because back in the US, I carry my pepper spray with me everywhere.
Itu bener ya, kalau dipikir-pikir I always carry, cause gue gak tinggal sendiri, good thing I live with my sister. Tapi gitu kalau lagi nyetir, habis ke parkiran, kayak I always carry my pepper spray dan kayak siap-siap. Terus di sini sih enggak sih, tapi malah karena itu kayak karena enggak ready, you get caught off guard gitu loh untuk di situasi tiba-tiba kayak oh my god gitu loh, ini kok di sini kayak gini ya.
Because usually when they talk about self-defense, they usually talk about like what freaking Muay Thai, like combat, like combat sport type stuff. And it's like, okay, be realistic here. I mean, sure, if you're a woman that knows how to fight, good on you, right? But then let's be realistic here. Most women, it's like, if it's 1v1 up against a man, like in physical combat, like
especially kalau situasinya lagi panik gitu loh, ya nggak bisa langsung kayak respond.
Exactly, but also self-defense classes here in Jakarta, Indonesia, like kalau apalagi kalau di Jakarta pun aja susah carinya, like a class for like self-defense. And it's also, let's be real, nobody has the time, right? To like to sign up for self-defense classes. So it's like, why can't we just carry pepper spray?
Itu minimum. So, minimum. I think itu ya, udah harus kita juga jaga-jaga, tapi ya itu sebagai society, please inilah stand up for your own society juga gitu loh. Ya itu dengan tadi 5D itu, hopefully ya itu ya, orang-orang juga nggak seberani itu di depan publik untuk melakukan pelecehan ke siapapun lah. So Indah, nih kita ini karena seru banget ya. You like to talk, I like to talk, I like to ask question. You're very interesting. Jadinya ini bisa berketerusan. Tapi you know what? Ini udah limitnya ya kan, Tar? Ini limitnya bagaimana, Tar? Jadinya maybe kita lanjutin di episode lain mungkin, or kayak maybe kita lanjutin langsung secara offline aja.
For sure.
Untuk para MTFers, thank you for tuning in. Thank you untuk Indah G udah datang ke sini memeriahkan MTFers. Nah, let us know if you want to hear us talk about what's next. Nah, bisa kasih info di Instagram kita juga @stellarwomen.id, dan subscribe juga di YouTube kita. And don't forget to follow L'Oreal @L'Oreal Indonesia. Thank you, stay tuned di episode berikutnya MTFers. Bye. Thank you, Indah.
Thank you for having me. Bye-bye.